Bullying and teasing. You know, we've heard an awful lot about it in the news lately, and I have to tell you, some of these stories, as you know, unfortunately, don't have very happy endings. But the one we're about to tell you about this morning certainly does. Meet my next guest, John Paul Padilla. He was bullied as a child and grew up with a desire to speak up, or shall we say, right up.
He's here with his mascot doll, Johnny Big Ears, the feel-good friend.
John Paul has written these two books. This first one right here, it is called Johnny Big Ears, a feel-good friend. And this one is called Johnny Big Ears Meets His New Neighbor, Suzy. He wrote these books to help educate and encourage children to value who they are. And I have to tell you, I love that message. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Danielle. Thanks for having me.
I'm glad you're here with us. And I have to tell you, we talked about this off camera. I have 3 boys of my own, love them dearly. And the thought of them being bullied just tears me up. And I know that you were bullied as a child. Tell me about that.
Yes, growing up, you know, I had big ears, of course. So I used to be teased and bullied right from the beginning, from elementary school all the way through high school. It affected me so much that somewhere between kindergarten and first grade, I started letting my mom, please let my hair grow long enough. So now the kids, instead of making fun of my ears, now they're making fun of my hair. So kids were calling me sissy, saying that I look like a girl. And it really brought my self-esteem really low. Made me feel unwanted, made me feel ugly, and it was just really a hard experience in my life. So finally I decided, you know, after a long traumatic experience, do something positive about it. So I decided to have, you know, surgery in my ears.
You know, it's interesting because we're looking at a picture now of you with the curly hair, and I think you look absolutely adorable. And the thing I always tell my boys is the thing that people tease you about, that's going to be your moneymaker later on. That's going to be the thing that's going to make you stand out. And it's interesting that you decided to have the surgery. Was that surgery the turning point for you?
Definitely the surgery was the turning point for me. Kids are always going to find a way to pick something, a little flaw from you, your weakness perhaps. So I felt by me having my surgery, there was no way they're going to be making fun of me. Now I could focus on myself instead of them looking at my ears.
Is that what happened?
Yes, in a sense it was, because now I felt more secure and better about myself.
You went on to write the book. Tell me about the book, Johnny Big Ears.
Johnny Big Ears is actually based on my life story in a sense. You know, it's based on a little kid who goes to kindergarten. He's being teased and bullied because he has big ears. So I decided to write teasing and bullying, talk about teasing and bullying, because like I said, you know, they used to make fun of me. And what helped them was actually the support of my mom and dad. I was able to talk to them and say, Mom, Dad, this is happening to me. Please help me out.
How can a parent help if their child is being bullied?
I know these days it's really difficult for a parent to sit down with their kids because of work and so much that is going on. But if you get to know your kids, know who they're hanging out with, what they're doing in school, and also what they're doing online. Because teasing is not only happening in schools, it's also happening a lot online.
I wanted to also ask you about this. How can the book serve as a teaching tool? Because when you read the book, it's a great message and a great story. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
What do you hope this accomplishes, you writing this book?
A lot of kids, unfortunately, they don't want to sit down with their parents and say, Mom, Dad, this is happening with me, because they feel too embarrassed. Perhaps they see it as a way of being weak. But if their parents actually open up a book, reads to them about teasing and bullying, you know, they're actually open the topic about teasing and bullying.
If they bring it up and say, hey, listen. Yeah, I think that's a great point. It's a great point. I want to talk a little bit about kids being leaders, because that's really what I'm working with my children on right now, is being leaders and not worrying about impressing your friends. And I know that that's touched on a little bit in your work as well. Tell me about that.
A good form of teaching kids to be leaders, I think, if parents would actually sit down with their kids and teach them to be confident in themselves, love them more, listen to what they're doing, and also teach them, you know, to be more tolerant of others.
Oh, for sure. That tolerance for me is a big deal.
Yes, definitely. It's really sad for me to see kids these days, with them, you know, taking their lives away, and a life is a precious thing to have. And kids need to know that no matter how you look like, you are special. You shouldn't change who you are just because people are making fun of you. On the contrary, your uniqueness is actually what makes you stand out and be better than everybody else.
Absolutely, and a lot of times the bullies are the ones who have the issues and the problems.
Yes,
you know?
And sometimes, you know, the bullies are actually, they've been bullied themselves. From my research they've been doing,
that's true, yeah.
They've been bullying themselves, so of course they're going to try to be bullies, because they felt by being bullies themselves, nobody will pick on them.
Yeah, well, you know what, I'm glad that you were able to come through on the other side, write these terrific books, and have your wonderful mascot there as well. Great to meet you, John Paul, and best of luck to you in the future.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so glad to meet you. And again, the books are called Johnny Big Ears, the Feel-Good Friend, and Johnny Big Ears Meets His New Neighbor, Suzy. For more information on John Paul or these books, please visit the website johnpaulpadilla.com.